Good evening, instructor class. I would like to say my topic for this integrating, technology into the data processing. My topic is employee motivation using processing data. In doing this scenario, we have to be very fairly evaluated in how we use data because we don't want to send out the wrong message when it comes to reaching potential employers and investors and customers. Our data have to be clearly put in when it comes to collecting input, output, and analysis. We have to be very precise for how we use our data because, like I said, we don't want to put the wrong message out and give the company a bad reputation when it comes to data processing. So we have to make sure that everything is clear and understanding without any errors and mistake to get our message out to potential international, global. We have to be very motivated, committed, loyal, and trustworthy when it comes to putting our data out, whether in a classroom or on a computer or just readily writing it down for ourselves or in the classroom. We have to be, right with our grammar and spelling so that when this message get out, people can understand it and move forward for whatever task that they're trying to do. Employee motivation using data processing. So yes, we have to be very discreet on how we, think and and most of all, how we write our grammar and spell our grammar and the way we use data as well. We have to be very discreet and professional about it in order to save time and in order to stop putting companies in risk management factors and interest of conflicts by using misspelled data and grammar as such as. Moving on. So my goal and my topic is to be clearly evaluated and understand how and what, when, and how data is processed when it comes to collecting it, analyzing it, taking measurements in it for the input of different categories. My goal is to be precisely motivated in being able to do that in a professional way, as everyone else should be able to do it in a professional way in order to save time from interest of conflicts with misspelling and grammar such as. Doing this, and being goal oriented and social impact, it's a quicker and easier way to reach out to the world without having to talk or whatever, but reach out into a business world professionally. It saves a lot of time when you do things clearly and correctly when you're using data. It brings social impact closer. In the social impact, it brings us closer to each other and being able to do business, business decision in a good way, using good practice and good behavior of using the right kind of grammar and spelling when it comes to data processing. This allows us to build on a solid foundation of being able to communicate with each other effectively instead of, you know, interest of conflicts where things are just not done properly in an ethical way that is sustainable to society. My overview of this lesson activity assessment, refers to language objectives, most of all, enduring understanding of how to correctly and clearly use data, whether it's on a computer in a classroom, in order to get the message out. Leaving, like I said, leaving out any errors and mistakes, because no company needs that. Having an employee that not directly spelling words right like it should, and you know giving a company a bad reputation of having a person that's really unlearned and unmotivated in spelling and just trying to get a message out into the world. That wouldn't look all that great. So they would create a bad reputation for the company that hired them, and as well for themselves. If you're not, spelling grammar right, because grammar is the vital source. Data processing is the vital source in life nowadays. It's the norm. You have to be able to spell clearly. You have to be, and when it comes to processing and collecting, you have to know what, when, and how to do it. But most of all, you have to clearly understand how to put the data in and how to spell different words, such as, and how to use the computer, spelling different words. So it's the vital source in getting the message out into the world, has been for many years. It's just that nowadays we're able to do it on a computer than compared to when we just had to just write them down on a piece of paper. Engagement is another thing. We have to be committed and motivated. I said the data processing, we have to be very motivated in being able to spell different words and clearly input the data into it could be a level, it could be a category, it could be just writing a project or something like that. We have to be clearly motivated, you know what I'm saying? And we have to be clearly engaged and committed into getting the right message out, using the right, you know, correct data. Learning objectives. The learning objectives of this is that, being a motivated employee using data, we have to be clearly evaluated and understand how to do that process correctly in order to save time from mistakes and error when using, when putting the message out. The resources, specific resources we can use when it comes to data processing is a computer. We can type on a computer using data. We can use a tablet using data. We can use Excel using data, spreadsheets. We can use PowerPoint using data. We can use a software called Open Data Network for learning. You can use a software called Open Government Data, Amazon website, and World Factbook, just to name a few. Those are resources that we can actually access and for us to be able to use data in. The best practice for effective delivery would be in using data when it comes to background is just do some research employee motivation using data and see, and it will let you know that you know how you should be able to collect the data, how you should input the data, how you should output the data when it comes to different categories and levels. you know like I mentioned before, you have to be able to spell clearly, be evaluated clearly when it comes to letters and numbers, and when it comes to the input of the data. Knowledge is when you learn how to clearly evaluate and analyze and collect and take measurements in data. That is the knowledge that you will learn. The challenge is, the challenge can come from the unlearned where they are not, they are not knowledgeable about how to collect the data. They're not knowledgeable on how to spell correctly and use, you know, the data. They're just unlearned and not knowing how, what, when, and how to do and collect data. Pain point delivery is just being motivated in mindset with the readiness and self-esteem to be able to sit there and input the data correctly and take your time and understanding how and the way it should be input without making any mistakes and error that may cause your job, your career to be at risk or the company value to be at risk when using this. When it comes to data processing, we have to be very discreet and understand how to collect, analyze, and take measurements in the data when it comes to the input and output of processing into different categories, such as or levels, for example. Delivery technique could be, you know, for instance, we can use a data management practicing system in order to get the feel and see how, process data. You have, you know, different categories the data are supposed to be putting in, how to collect the data from an input here and then put it in output there, how to take measurements of data using alphabetical orders, you know. And practicing, on this system would allow you to get the feel of it and get a clear vision of what's going on before you even get into a job. You can be allowed to make mistakes and correct them. Nobody there to judge you for doing that. It just allow you to be able to make a learning pathway for yourself and being able to see the true vision of what data processes is all about. And it should teach you as you go along how to collect and analyze and take measurements in the data in a clearly formative way, the way it should be put in. What's wrong with you, Demo? Get down there, cause I don't understand what's wrong with you. You interfere, man. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Get down there. There ain't one thing or something else with you all the time. Let me get up. Data management processing system, practicing system will allow us to be able to make mistakes and so that we can learn how to correctly use and clearly use and input data in a system for work, society, and economy or whatever. Um, IBM Data Quality, which is a data reliable solution, uses data qualifying tools to clean and manage your data. I mean, in doing this right here, you uh you make mistakes, but this here tool will allow you to be able to clean and manage your data as well for learning. And I'm gonna have to go because I think I got a sick puppy over here, y'all. Y'all, peace out. And with that, I'm gonna be signing off, but keep in mind that we have to be clearly motivated in understanding how to use data in a professional way in order to keep down any interest of conflicts for ourselves and the company that hired us. We have to be committed and trustworthy and loyal to the fact. Yeah, thank you and have a blessed day. I'm gonna sign off with that. Thank you and have a blessed day. You done start. Now, how can I save this? I hope to God I can save